you just joined us, I played a report out of St. Louis from KSDK, and they're like, yes, the Army's driving hundreds of armored vehicles all over the neighborhood. They need to learn how to drive on roads, as if they don't have giant military bases everywhere, including right up there in that area. We're talking hundreds of square miles in some cases. Fort Hood's as big as 5 Dallases or more. I mean, it's just more like 5 metroplexes last time I mean, it's just huge. But they got bases everywhere. We need to drive up and down your street. Meanwhile, it's just acclamation, folks. It's admitted that the military is training to take on the American people. And we've not screened your calls other than asking, do you want to talk about this if you're police or military? Because even though it's in the Army Times, they admit this is happening, by the time it gets on the local news, they're like, conspiracy theorists think the hundreds of vehicles are driving around to get people ready for martial law. And then it cuts to the military. Do not look at us, and you know, you can look, but don't get too close, and we're not going to tell you where we're parking them. So we're going to go to Andrew, Jim, Robin, and others that are holding. If you're a whistleblower, 877-789-2539. It's not even whistleblowing. If you have a comment on this, if you've been involved in the training, your overall view on it. Andrew in California, you're police or military?
Yeah, police, Alex.
Well, give us your take on it, sir.
Well, you're not going to believe this, but let me tell you a little something. Anyways, I only live a few minutes from the border from Mexico, so I literally live in the police state as we speak. I've seen the newscasts in Mexico with the grenades on the tables. You know, any direction I go, leaving the county, I can't leave. I go to a checkpoint, armed checkpoint. But let me give you the latest intel what's going on. It looks like Department of Homeland Security are flying what seems to be Mexican nationals to the border areas on, looks like private aircraft or 737 aircraft. And, you know, I've talked to some of the guys, and they've talked to the pilots, and they said they're moving as many as 2,000 a day. So,
all right, let me stop you. I talked about this 5 years ago from Texas sheriffs I had on, and since then it's actually been in California, Arizona, and Texas papers that, yes, Mexican aircraft are allowed in U.S. airspace. In fact, guys, type that in, Mexican aircraft, Mexican Army and Navy aircraft. Just say Mexican military aircraft now allowed to operate inside U.S. You'll get CBS, Associated Press, but it's not a big issue. It's kind of like hidden in plain view. And yes, I talked to a Marine officer, I'll just leave it at that, 2 weeks ago, who said, Alex, I can't tell you because the details are classified. He said, well, he said what you just said. Tell us about the thousands of Mexican troops inside the U.S.
No, it's not exactly that, Alex. And I'm sorry if I misrepresented myself, but it's contracted civilian aircraft moving Mexican nationals, what I believe, out of detention facilities all across the United States down to the border areas to be moved down into Mexico. So
oh, no, I knew about that. That's on record, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so what I'm fairly assuming, sir, is that these holding facilities, they're opening up. These beds are opening up, and as you know and I know, these jails aren't built to be empty. So,
well, no. Again, you're absolutely on target. Remember what came out in the... Have you ever seen the Iran-Contra hearings? They're online.
Oh, yes, sir. I've seen everything you've made here. So.
Well, I mean, it's not just... But I'm saying for everybody can just look up the raw footage. It's at pbs.org. It's also on YouTube. It's also on C-SPAN. You can watch hundreds of hours. But it's Oliver North testimony and Admiral Poindexter, Henry B. Gonzalez, and Jack Brooks, both of Texas, both congressmen, say to them, tell us about Rex 84 and the plan to put first immigrants as a cover in the secret camps and then citizens. And they go, we can't talk about it national security. But the point is that's exactly how they plan to sell it. And you're right. They're activating these facilities everywhere and priming them and training the camp guards on the illegals. Go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, sir, I just wanted to let you know that, and these jets are coming in every day. Like I said, they've talked to the pilots. They said they're moving as many as 2,000 people out of these facilities every single day now. So that means that they're probably opening them up now at quite a pace. They've
got a giant one down by Corpus Christi. In fact, when you're driving down 37 towards Corpus Christi, look out to your left. You'll see these giant sports stadium. Richard Reeves went down there with me a few months ago. Well, then there's also another one down on South Padre as well. And he's like, I think that's a prison. I think that's a prison. Well, he went over there. We talked to locals and then later just found out there's a whole archipelago along the coast of these. Thank you so much for the call, and the information, sir. Be safe out there. Jim in Missouri, police or military, Jim?
Yes, Alex, if you can hear me, my name is Jim from St. Louis. I'm a police officer. I have a pretty unique voice, so I'm trying to hide it, so I hope I'm coming in clear. I saw the KSDK footage, but I have some more news to tell you. We have been told that in October we need to be prepared for an event. I don't know much, but I just know it's supposed to be an event that will require us to use air and ground support in conjunction with the local military here. We've been practicing pretty much safeguarding pretty more affluent areas in St. Louis, Missouri.
You sound, let me stop you, I'm going to hold you over. You sound pretty freaked out, sir.
Alex, I've been a listener for yours for a while, but it's basically been coming down the pike pretty rapidly the last couple months, and basically, I can't really say too much. Like I said, I think they'll hear my voice. I have a very unique voice, but the military has basically been running drills with us, Alex, for about a month and a half now, and I think I don't know what's going to be the event in October, Alex, but if they ask me to confiscate guns, I don't know what's going to happen, because a lot of people in my department, they're asleep, Alex. They hate Obama. They're still in the left-right paradigm, and it's scary, Alex.
Do they have any idea how dangerous it's going to be to try to take guns?
Alex, I know. Trust me, this is Missouri, and there's some good old boys up here, but these good old boys are, they think Obama's a Muslim terrorist, and they don't understand people are bought and paid for. I try to explain it to people when I do even regular...
Well, let me not interrupt you. Just go back to what you just said. You said they're being told in October, be prepared to use air and ground Army forces against the American people.
And when they say air support, I don't understand what that means. I don't know if that means they're going to just openly have drones flying or what, but I don't know what kind of support...
No, that's it. That's why the Secretary of the Army is in the news saying airstrikes.
I can't believe that Channel 5 is actually putting this on. Can you please upload that video on YouTube or Infowars.com so we can see this?
Well, listen, here's the deal, sir. Here's the problem. They take it down whenever we post it. Normally, they would leave something like that up. They don't want this being seen. This wasn't supposed to get on the news. Did you see how freaked out the Army commander was?
Alex, you don't have to explain it to me. I know, but real quick, Alex, I'll hold up.
No, stay there. But don't get... I understand you're trying to disguise your voice, but it's all right. This is America. We're allowed to say we don't want the Army attacking us. Listen, we could back this off if we get the news out about it ahead of time. Imagine if they were planting a false flag in Missouri. Now they're not going to be able to do that now because of us talking about it. Guys, put it on screen, the article about the Mexican troops cleared to operate inside the U.S. out of the Houston Chronicle. I want to show people that because folks aren't going to believe that. If you're a radio listener and you're like, show us, we're also streaming video at Infowars.com. But the guys did find the article. There it is, Cron.com. Mexican military flies over South Texas. Officials say U.S. has cleared flights in war on drug trafficking. Yeah, and then you can find the other articles where they're pulling triggers. Around 1,000 Mexican troops operate a week, according to the intel I got, in Texas alone. Remember when I told you they sent Mexican troops to Katrina? And people are like, well, that's just to help. It's to acclimate you. I've been to the urban warfare drills 10 years ago, 12 years ago, on footage where they have troops from over 10 different nations training to confiscate our guns and admitting it's in the U.S., and then the Marine Corps commander runs over and screams at me and threatens to have me arrested because I got it on tape. They wanted to lead me around in some staged deal and lie to me, but it didn't matter. I snuck around. When they kicked me out of that urban drill, I just sent in other people as reporters. I mean, we got the footage. It's called Police State 2000. You're not going to stop us. Now, we had you on hold, Jim, or we were going to break, so they put you on mute, but they could hear you talking because they had you faded down, but you were in the studio. And I said, this is America. It's okay, Jim, for you to speak out about this, and you said, no, this isn't America, off air. You've got the floor for another minute. Tell folks specifically what they've got you training with the military with these hundreds of large armored vehicles for.
Well, like I said, I'm in St. Louis, Missouri, Alex. I'll try to be quick. All we've been told through whispers, basically, in the locker room, is that in October, and it's pretty much locked in. I don't know if there's going to be another debate here in St. Louis like there was 4 years ago or what, but it's pretty much locked in that we're going to be basically the guards of the more affluent neighborhoods here in St. Louis. A lot of the lawyers and doctors and professors seem to, live in certain parts of St. Louis and the surrounding counties, and we've been basically patrolling and practicing all of the entries into certain neighborhoods to protect against militias, and that word has been used. Hold on, Alex. That word has been used, and there has been something said about, well, I don't want to say too much more, but basically, Alex...
No, go ahead. You're trained... Look, listen, the criminal globalist collaborators live in certain areas. They know people have made lists. We haven't, but people have been making lists. The military, retired folks know who the enemy is. And yes, this is the plan, to go into a fortress mode when the globalists try to start World War III and then go after domestic groups. When the globalists start the Civil War and start trying to arrest people, then folks are going to be forced to fight, and they're not just going to wait in their houses, and they're not going to just go out and go after police and military. They're going to try to go after the people that run this because they're smart. Oh, that's what you're being told?
Yeah, that's basically it. And Alex, it's pretty much wide open here in St. Louis. But I haven't been involved in any drills with actual tanks, so I asked you earlier if you could upload that video. But real quick before you let me go, I know you got other callers. Alex Jones is real. All right? I know a lot of people out there on the internet are saying he's a shill, but he's real. You can go to YouTube right now, type in classic Alex Jones 2000, and you'll see video clips of this man from the 90s where he was in his early 20s speaking against the New World Order. And America, this country's dead, Alex. It's going.
Oh, there he hung up. Listen, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, okay? It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But yes, the professors and people are actually the technicians that come up with all this. You go to a CFR meeting or any of it, you watch it on C-SPAN, they're the ones coming up with all the plans. And you've got the bankers and others, and you've got the elite in every city who you notice stay in one area. And there's other rich areas, but they always stay in one little area. That's because they run the COG plan for their area, and they plan on having the police protect them while they've got the police and military out trying to arrest us. Because they know the checkmate move. They know they're fighting a bunch of veterans. They know they're fighting former intelligence people. They know they're fighting people that understand how to resist an authoritarian, globalist, basically communist takeover. Okay? And again, communists aren't the little dirty commie running around the street. That's their front. The mega banks fund communism to wreck a country and take it over. Communism, fascism's, corporations controlling government. Communism ends up being the same thing. They claim it's two different things academically, but it's not. Carol Quigley in Tragedy and Hope, by the way. I always have these mental midgets send me emails and comments saying, oh, Alex, communism and fascism are diametrically opposed. Really? Head of Georgetown Political Science, Bill Clinton's mentor, official historian for the Bilderberg Group, and the CIA says they control communism and fascism and gives all the quotes on it. It's 1,400 pages. I don't know if you're going to read that or want to understand it, but they want authoritarianism, and they learn to give you a bunch of different flavors of it. I mean, it's kind of like there's 5, 6 different ways to cook a pork chop. It's still a pork chop. So, yeah, there's differences, but the meat and potatoes of it are not. Checkpoints, torture rooms, cameras, inside.